Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Embroidery Sundays. Today I'm going to be diving into the instruction manual for the Brother PRS 100 Persona embroidery machine, which I have here right next to me. And I want to go over two mystery accessories that came with the machine and how you use them to check the tension on your bobbin. So when I was going through the accessories, I noticed on page 16, there were two weights that came with the machine. So they're items number 21 and 22. And 21 is the large weight and 22 is the small weight. And they look like this. That's the large one, and you can see it's pretty high, and there's the small one. And there were no indication in this list on what you did with them, so I scoured the manual, and on page 91, I found out what to use them for. So if you go to page 91, basically what you use these weights for is to help you decide if your bobbin tension is set properly. Before we get going with that though, I want to show you what gave me an inkling that my bobbin tension might be a little bit too tight. If you look at the underside or the back side of these designs, you can see that my top thread is pulling way too far to the underside. All right, so that's an indication that your bobbin thread might be a little bit too tight. And if you look closely at my vines here, there's almost no bobbin thread showing. All right, so that's an indication that your bobbin thread is too tight. And I will tell you that if you use quality embroidery threads, I'm using Aerofill cotton thread here, and it's expensive. So if you add up all the extra thread I am pulling to the underside because my bobbin thread is too tight, I can definitely save on my thread and be a little bit more economical on my embroidery if you balance your tension. All right, so the way these work, and the reason why there's two of them, a heavier one and a lighter one, is because you can check the tension on your bobbins if you're using a standard metal bobbin that you wound yourself, or if you're using a pre-wound bobbin. And I just want to talk about these pre-wound bobbins for a minute. I bought a whole box of 100 Filtech magnetic core bobbins, and these are really great for embroidery because they're pre-wound, the tension is more consistent, and the little magnetic end of the core here sort of sticks itself to the base or inside bottom of the bobbin case, and it helps create better tension. So I bought myself these, and I will be using the pre-wound bobbins instead of winding my own. But if you do have to wind your own bobbin, make sure you're using a really lightweight bobbin thread, like a 100 weight thread, because bobbin thread should be, lighter than what you're embroidering with as a general rule. So if you're using bobbins that you're winding yourself, make sure you get yourself some lightweight 100 weight bobbin thread. All right, so that's what I wanted to say about that. So the way you use these weights is you tie them on. So I've got my pre-wound bobbin in the bobbin case here, and you'll notice that I put the metallic side face down into the bobbin case, and I've got it threaded through the little clip here. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the end, and I'm going to take the end and I'm going to put it through the hole in the weight like this, and then I'm going to tie a knot that's secure. So I'm going to go left over right, and then I'm going to go right over left, and that will give me a nice square knot that won't slip when I test the tension. So basically what we want to do now is I'm going to put this pattern weight here, and I'm going to put my hand, I'm going to rest my hand up at the top so I can hold it so the clip is facing the ground, and I'm just going to let the weight go. And if it slides down slowly, that means there's a good amount of tension on the bobbin thread. And you can see that my weight is really not going anywhere. So that would be an indication that my bobbin tension might be a little bit too tight. All right, so what you're going to do is you're going to put your little screwdriver in there. Now this screwdriver comes with the accessories, and I'm going to turn it to the left just a couple minutes. And what I mean by that is, if this little screw is a face clock, sort of measure out what 5 minutes is and turn it a little bit less than that. So I'm going to go from where it is now to the left just a little bit. Okay, so I probably turned it 2, maybe 3 minutes tops. Then I'm going to put the bobbin back up on the block here, and I'm going to let I'm going to let it go, and you can see that the thread falls slowly. It doesn't drop super fast, but I mean, let me hold it up here again so you can see. You can see it just drops slowly. Okay, so that would be an indication that you have a good amount of tension on your bobbin thread. And if I pull it, I can feel the tension there. So you can see that that was a really small change that I made. So you don't want to be turning that screw, 5-minute, 10-minute, or quarter turns. Just a little bit in the left direction if the weight is not falling slowly. And if it's dropping like a stone, really fast, that means you have to go to the right and just give it a little bit of a tightening. But again, only move it a minute or two in each, in that direction, and then retest it. Okay, so that's how you test your bobbin thread to see if you have a good tension. Now, I did say there were 2. So the reason why there's 2 is if you have a bobbin that's wound yourself, there's not as much tension in the thread and it turns easier. So you need to use the weight that's smaller with your bobbins that you're winding yourself. All right, so I'm super excited about this little episode because I really was, it was a mystery to me what these were for. So I went on a mission to find out what they were for, and now I know. And now I've tested my bobbin case tension. So when I do my next design, I think it'll be a little bit more balanced. So just a quick note about thread tensions before we go. If you're adjusting your tensions, you always want to make sure your bobbin tension is correct first, and then you can adjust your top tension. So now that I've checked my, my bobbin case and my bobbin tension, when I do my next stitch out, if the fill stitching or the top thread is still coming too far to the underside of the design, you can also tighten your thread tension or your upper tension to pull it back a little bit as well. So it's a balance between the bobbin thread pulling too tight and the top tension being tight enough. So always start with adjusting your bobbin first, and then if you need to, you can adjust your upper thread tension on the machine. All right, so that's my little tutorial on page 91 of the instruction manual for the Brother PRS 100 Persona embroidery machine. If you have any questions about, adjusting your bobbin tension, please post them below and I will help you. If you have any specific questions about machine embroidery, post those in the comments because I love answering subscribers' questions. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Sunday, and I will see you again soon.